Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speed delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speedy delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
Welcome back. The government of Dominica has handed over 3 vehicles to the police force. The vehicles were handed over today as the Dominica Police Force is this week observing Police Week. Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore, says the vehicles will be stationed at the Grand Bay, Portsmouth and Vegas police stations.
So today, consistent with the promise that I made and consistent with the promise of the Prime Minister, we are here handing 3 vehicles to the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. Now, what is the intention of that? We have a situation in Granby where the vehicle was a good vehicle, but the vehicle there was an accident. So it's not a situation where the vehicle itself had outlived its utility. It's a situation whereby we have to make a distinction between an accident and an incident. An accident is something you could not have prevented. But when you could have prevented something, it's an incident and not an accident. So we have to try to calm down within the police force on the number of incidents that we have with vehicles. And that's going to require a more stringent protocol that the police force, when I was there, used to have. But we understand that we have to have the mobility. So these 3 vehicles, one will be going to Granby and Portsmouth and Vegas. And by next week, Portsmouth will be getting a second vehicle, because we intend to ensure that the bigger stations have 2 vehicles. The same thing for the yard, CID, to ensure that CID has more than 1 vehicle. The traffic and the SSU task force, etc. There's a situation in Calibishi. By Monday, so the vehicle will be up and running, and the same thing can be said for Sally Bay. So I'm happy, and again, there's a cost to that. 4 of these vehicles, duties, not included, is costing the state $468,000. But it's money well spent.
Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore. Meantime, Acting Police Chief Davison Valerie says mobility is critical to performing the duties of the police force.
For us, it is significant because we know the challenges that police force is confronted with when it comes to mobility. We have been blessed with having a number of vehicles in this organization. And yes, our police force do have to cover a number of areas that are all around the island. And we need to be equipped. Mobility is critical for us. And so we thank the government, the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, or PS, National Security, for their commitment towards providing for our Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. We know that we are in times when things are difficult. And that is not for Dominica, but internationally, things are difficult. But we have the challenges that we must confront. And so our government has given us this presentation as a way to enable us to be able to meet our challenges, to mitigate that which confronts us. I can assure you that it couldn't have come at a better time. This week we celebrate our Police Week 2024. And to receive 3 vehicles on an occasion like this is very fitting for the government to have considered us at this time.
Acting Police Chief Davison Valerie. Grammy Award-winning Nigerian superstar Wizkid has been added to the lineup for the 2024 World Creole Music Festival. The festival will be held on October 25th to 27th. The nightly lineup for the three-day event was revealed today.
The festival will kick off on Friday, October 25th, with performances by Dominica's Ecstasy Band and TK International, alongside international acts T-Vice from Haiti, Nadia Batson from Trinidad and Tobago, Valiant from Jamaica, and Rotimi from Nigeria. Saturday, October 26th, we'll see headline performances from Caribbean Music Awards People's Choice, Asa Banton. Caribbean Music Awards Artist of the Year in the Booyah category, Mr. Rich, alongside Pudas. Kassav from Martinique and Guadeloupe, Damon and Stephen Marley from Jamaica, and Grammy Award winner Wizkid from Nigeria. Performers from St. Lucia, Ompa, and Servants will also take the stage. The final night, Sunday, October 27th, will feature Kai from Haiti, Dominica's Signal Band, and Midnight Groovers. Caribbean Music Awards Male Soca Artist of the Year, Skinny Fabulous from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Voice from Trinidad and Tobago, and Tian Winter from Antigua. Grams Morgan and Friends, Luciano and Dwayne Stevenson from Jamaica, and Fanny J from French Guiana will bring the festival to a close.
Communications and Public Relations Specialist at Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis. Consultant psychiatrist at the Acute Psychiatric Unit, Dr. Nadia Wallace, has issued a call for prioritizing mental health in the workplace. Her call as Dominica joins the international community in the observance of World Mental Health Day on Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Dr. Wallace says it is important to note that mental health disorders normally have a negative impact on the workplace.
This year's World Mental Health Day, it's a call for action for all individuals, organizations, and government to prioritize mental health in the workplace, and also to ensure that mental health is recognized as an essential component of occupational health and safety. When we look at mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, we know that they are pervasive in the workplace globally, and they impact productivity, attendance, and overall performance. Now, if we have to look at mental health at work in numbers, it's a fact that 60% of the world population is in work, and more importantly to note, 60% of our time is spent in the workplace. Also in 2019, it was found that 15% of the working age adults, they do have a mental illness, they have a mental disorder. And coming from the COVID-19 pandemic and from 2019, we know that the prevalence of both anxiety and depression has increased. When we look at mental health at work, we know that people with mental health conditions are routinely stigmatized, they are discriminated against, and they're excluded in workplaces. Also, many employers may be reluctant to hire people with mental health conditions, and workers may hesitate as a result to disclose their condition or to seek help because they fear the negative career consequences.
Consultant psychiatrist at the Acute Psychiatric Unit, Dr. Nadia Wallace. Medical officer at the Acute Psychiatric Unit, Dr. Aline Farrell, says the government and the private sector have a role to play in mitigating psychosocial risk within the workplace.
The government's role include building capacities for psychosocial risk management among occupational health services. And the aim is to strengthen the services, the occupational health services, in prevention, monitoring, and remediation for harm caused by psychosocial risks. Now, when we speak of the role of the employers, we realize that it's very closely linked with that of the government. Employers can mitigate psychosocial risk by embedding mental health into their existing OHS management systems as an essential element and not only as an option. Activities to improve mental health at work should prioritize collective measures, and they should also be based on sound risk assessment and management process. It's also encouraged that employers encourage meaningful involvement of workers and their representatives in identifying psychosocial risk and hazards at work, and that they remain informed and they are invited to participate in trainings about the measures adopted to prevent the psychosocial risks.
Medical officer at the acute psychiatric unit, Dr. Alan Farrell. A number of activities to begin on Sunday have been planned ahead of the observance of World Mental Health Day on Thursday. 5 retired teachers have been awarded by the Dominica Association of Teachers during the World Teachers' Day rally in Dubla this morning. They are Joan Smith John Baptist of Salisbury, who served for 42 years, Joyce Alexis Joseph of St. John's Primary School, who served for 39 years, Jacqueline Roy Samuel, who taught at the Wills Strathmore Stevens Primary School for 35 years, and Fanuel Hillier of the Pitt Primary School, who served for 38 years. One teacher, Augustus Drigo of the Castlebrooke Secondary School, received the posthumous award for his 35 years of service. President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Mervyn Alexander, reaffirms the union's commitment to ensuring that teachers receive permanent appointments.
Many of you got letters again saying that you're acting in a vacant position. And I know that's not what you're looking for, and so on. But let me assure you, and even those of you who have successfully completed teacher training, you're still getting letters that you're still an unqualified teacher. Let me assure you that your association, your union, is working to ensure that these things are rectified. We are working very tediously to get these things under control, right? What we are having is this, what we are seeing is that many teachers are not saying anything to us because we don't get a list of the appointees. So even when we make recommendations, when we say things, they're saying to us, but this person is appointed. So we're also asking teachers, if you know that you're not appointed yet, you come to us and you get your appointment, let us know. Because we wouldn't know. Because we're constantly at the beck and call of the officials to appoint teachers. So when we go, they say to us, but this person's appointed. We feel a kind of way. So please, we're urging you, if you get your appointment, let us know. So we know we have to fight for somebody else and not you again.
President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Mervyn Alexander. On the feature segment of the DBS Evening News, the name Rosette Bertrand is synonymous with culture, but Rosette Bertrand has been involved in all facets of life in Dubla for the last 55 years. Tonight, Rosette Bertrand is our feature on the DBS Evening News.
I am a community person. My aim, my life is for my community development, just to develop my community anyhow and any way I can. Culture, sports, anything to develop my country, and especially the young people. I love working with young people. I love to see young people develop. I hate to see young people on the road doing nothing, so I always try to engage them in doing something positive. I started my community work from the time I was about 7 years old, because my grandparents were community people too. They were in everything. You know what they say, Coco or Tete, yote toujours devant, doing everything. My grandmother was always ready to cook food when they have anything in the community. So, I grew up in that. So it wasn't anything new, it's just something I just had to continue. I worked with adult education for quite a number of years until I retired. But then for my community work, in church, I was everything. My granny was, a church person. She was everything in church. She was cooking for priests. Priests used to dress and undress at our home at the time when there was no chapel in Dublin. So I started my community work from there. And my granny, everything that was passing, anything they have, once it's for young people, I would be involved, from Children of Mary to Guide to Scout Youth Group, anything and everything I was part of it. Well, I was clerk of the council for a few years, and then apart from that, I've been involved in youth groups. I've been coordinator of youth group. We had a church group, young social league. I was part of it. I was not only part, I've been leader of all the groups, if you have to say, coordinator and leader of all the groups in the community. We had Dovenal at one time, a drama group. We had that. We had Daffodils youth group, and then we had our church parish groups, or church groups and everything. I've been part of everything and anything in Dubla. Sports club, both cricket and football. I've been at one time I was secretary to the Pelican Sports Club. That was our first cricket club, and then we moved. I was one of the founders of the now Dubla Football Club. So I've been in everything.
How would you say, Mrs. Bertrand, things have changed over all these years?
We have a lot of distraction now, the young people. Well, in Dubla, the young people, they live on the playing field. They just on the playing field all the time. But then sometimes, to get them to do certain things. Like when I started Flamboyant Dancers in 2005, I had a group of young people. We had the children group were 9 and 10 at the time. I could get them anytime and every time, to come. But now things have changed. The children have distraction. They have whatever. Because the football and cricket was still there. At the time, we were playing both cricket and football. Now, we play more football than cricket. And we would get them to do things. They were part of the church groups. They were part of everything. But now you find, they have other distractions. They're at home watching TV. They're on their iPad doing this. They're doing all kinds of things. So it's different now. But the interest is still there. When we want them, once Flamboyant Dancers, you just have to say dance and they appear.
Anything you, as somebody who's been involved for so many years, anything you would like to see happen to preserve the culture?
We have a lot of people, that are interested in culture. And we have people, that are working. Sometimes we don't see them, we don't even hear about them, but they are there in all the communities working to preserve the culture. But what we need a little more support. We need more assistance. We need more support from the authorities, in line of preserving the culture. Because now we need more drummers. We need more accordionists. We need more even dancers, the people to teach and things like that. It's not that they are not interested, but, we need something, to push them to get more interest. But the interest is there.
Community advocate Rosette Bertrand of Dubla. And that's the National Focus, Regional and International Developments up next.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speed the delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speed the delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the small island of Barbuda, home to fewer than 2,000 residents, has received a significant upgrade with the opening of its new international airport. The airport was officially inaugurated on Thursday. Antigua and Barbuda's Tourism Minister Charles Fernandez described the event as a commitment to the future of Barbuda, emphasizing its role in fostering unity between the two islands, which have had their differences. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brong highlighted the potential for job creation, tourism growth, and economic developments. And internationally, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has said global food prices rose in September at their fastest rate since March 2022, with sugar prices surging as dry weather and fires damage Brazilian sugarcane crops. The FAO food price index reached 124.4 points in September, a 3% increase from August, but it remained 22.4% below the peak reached in March 2022 in the wake of Russia's invasion of agricultural powerhouse Ukraine. And that's news. Stay tuned for the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. The West Indies ladies were disappointing with bat and ball as they crashed to a defeat in their opening match of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Dubai on Friday. South Africa won the toss and opted to bowl first. The Windies lost wickets regularly and could not build solid partnerships as they were restricted to 118 for 6 in their 20 overs. Stephanie Taylor got 44 not out, Shameen Campbell 17 and Zayda James 15 not out. Mulaba bagged 4 for 29 for South Africa. South Africa in reply got the winning runs without losing a wicket. Wolvat got 59 not out and Brits 57 not out as South Africa posted 119 without loss to win by 10 wickets. West Indies captain Hayley Matthews says it was a poor day, but the team has to regroup quickly.
Yeah, look, it was obviously a very disappointing game and not the way we wanted to start the tournament. But we're obviously going to have to pick the pieces up quickly. We've got a game in 2 days' time, and we're going to have to be able to bounce back really quickly. And it's a long tournament. We've still got a shot with it, but it's going to take some good performances, so I think it's just a matter of picking up the pieces and finding a way to bounce back from that.
Would it be fair to say, particularly with the batting side of things, that you couldn't find solutions to the bowling of South Africa quick enough?
Yeah, I think they bowled really well. We probably just weren't able to bat a high enough strike rate. I think we were able to build some partnerships in between, and Steph was able to stick around for a bit as well, but probably just not able to strike at the rate we wanted to.
I think your physio probably needs a nice bath today. I think she did more Ks than most of the players. Zayda James and Stephanie Taylor, will they be right for the next match?
Yeah, hopefully. Z obviously getting the knock on her face, so hopefully that's just a bit of a cut and she'll be all right. And yeah, just got to monitor Steph. And yeah, hopefully she recovers quick enough to get back out on the park as well.
Windies captain Hayley Matthews. The Windies will play their next match against Scotland on Sunday. That game bowls off at 10 in the morning. St. Vincent Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says he regrets throwing his support behind CWI President and fellow Vincentian Dr. Kisho Shallow and thinks that West Indies cricket has sunk under his leadership. Gonsalves was responding to comments by Dr. Shallow made about the state of St. Vincent's economy. Dr. Shallow last week announced that he will be contesting the next general elections in St. Vincent on an opposition party ticket. Recently, Dr. Shallow said that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is 30 years behind St. Lucia economically. Gonsalves said that Shallow should explain why the regional cricket team has sunk lower and lower since he became president of Cricket West Indies in March 2023. The Prime Minister supported Shallow's candidacy as president of Cricket West Indies, but now says he regrets urging two of his regional colleagues to do so. Shallow has joined forces with the opposition about a decade after he rejected an offer to become a candidate for Gonsalves UPL. In other sports this evening, CWI President Dr. Kishore Shaloo says the issue of increasing the term limits for directors of the board is something that will be looked at seriously in the coming year. The current system provides for 2-year stints. There have been calls to increase the limits to 4 years in keeping with other major sports. Dr. Shaloo says this is something that will be explored following discussions with various stakeholders.
The process has already started, so we would have had discussions at the board level and at the shareholders level in the amendments to our constitution. The intention is to continue those discussions over the coming months. Decision would have to go back to the shareholders at the AGM in March next year. So what we were told is that there needs to be more discussions around that particular matter of the term of office for both president and vice president, and even the director as well, directors. So we will continue to have those discussions because we want, whenever we make such changes, that we have, the full agreement of all shareholders and so on. So we are committed to governance reform, of course. That is just one of the consideration. We do have some other matters that are being discussed by the board and that we hope will be in effect in the coming year.
CWI President Dr. Kishore Shaloo. Guyana Amazon Warriors captain Imran Taher says the Warriors do not intend on disappointing their home fans as they go in search of a spot in the finals of the Republic Bank CPL tonight. The defending champs will take on the Barbados Royals in the second qualifier tonight at 7 p.m. for the right to play the St. Lucia Kings in Sunday's final.
Yeah, look, like I mentioned, we are a local team here. We know the conditions better than anyone else, so I think we didn't use it well today. We just need to go back, do that little bit homework on that, come back strongly, and I'm pretty sure we won't let our fans down, come back here on Friday and then give whatever we have and try to win that and meet St. Lucia in the final.
Guyana Amazon Warriors captain Imran Taher. Defender Gail Mitchell is one of 2 changes being made to the senior men's national football squad as the team gets set for its next leg of matches in the CONCACAF Nations League next week. The overseas-based Mitchell, who featured in the World Cup qualifiers, will return to the team for the 2 matches against Bermuda in Bermuda. Goalkeeper Jerome Burkhardt also makes his return following an injury layoff. The national team will once again be led by Glenson Prince, with Brielle Thomas serving as his deputy. The full team is Glenson Prince, captain Dante Newton, Jerome Burkhardt, Rufferson Peerless, Giles Mitchell, Erskine Williams, Eustace Marshall, Giovanni Xavier, Kazim Peltier, Marcus Bridas, Jerhim Maxime, Brielle Thomas, Kyan Thomas, Chad Bertrand, Malachi Bonney, Corbin Paul, Odell Laville, Troy Jules, Dante Warrington, Julian Wade, David George, Travis Joseph and Savio Ansem. Dominica split their first 2 matches in the competition, beating Antigua 2-1 but lost to the Dominican Republic 2-0. Dominica sits 3rd in Group D with 3 points. The Dominican Republic has 6 points, Bermuda 3 points, and Antigua are yet to get off the mark. New India Goodwill Runners hammered newcomers South City by 11 goals to move into first place in the point standings in the DFA's Women's Premier League as that tournament continued last night at the DFA Technical Centre. Cassima Samuel got 6 goals. Karansi Peltier added 2 goals as the defending champs ran over South City 11-0. With the win, the Goodwill Runners have moved into first place on 11 points from 5 matches. While the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers have dropped to second on 10 points, Maho Belfast Soca Strikettes are in third on 10 points as well. The Women's League will continue tonight with the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers taking on the Mighty Avengers at the DFE Technical Center. Captain of the national netball team, Gail Serafin, is hoping the younger netballers on island will show more interest in representing the country in future tournaments. Her comments as a number of players did not show up for training ahead of the recently concluded ECCB International Netball Series. Serafin says a number of the younger players were invited but failed to show.
The players that were selected, I can tell you that they were selected based on the last tournament we have, based on the last national team we have. We called a list of about 28 persons for the national training. Now, as we know, we can only carry a horse to the water, we cannot force a horse to drink it. So if you're calling persons for training and they're not showing up for training, you have to work with what you have. What you have may not be the best at that time, but that is what you have. So you have to shape them, you have to mold them and try to get the competitiveness out of the strength out of each player so that we'll have a good team. So if you're called for training and you do not want to show up for training, you're not showing up for training, but then you're on YouTube and you want to say this and that about the team, what is your contribution to make Dominica great?
Captain of the national netball team, Galen Serafin, she says an effort was made to invite as many young players as possible.
Actually, this year the Dominica Association was looking more to get the younger players involved because, as you know, we just have the under-16. We used to have the OECS under-23 tournament, but that is no more. It has evolved into what we know now as the ECCB International Netball Series. So we have that gap in the age. Now we're looking at the younger players because we're trying to look at continuity. We're trying to have not just a netball team for the next 2 years, but maybe for the next 10 or 15 years. Now young players have been called for training. Now what the association has been doing, they will reach out to the parents or to the players to find out their interest. If they were selected and they won't come in, we called so many meetings trying to find out why you're not coming to the training or you're really interested in coming to the training. So we try to make an effort. But as I go back, we can only select who comes. So if they choose not to come, you cannot be going behind these players weeks, months, trying to convince them to come to training when clearly they do not have the passion or the motivation to train. So
Captain of the national netball team, Galen Serafin. We are down to the final 2 teams in the ACS Tarish United Small Goal Football Knockout Tournament. The league will climax on Sunday with the grand finals.
So the finals for the ACS Tarish United Small Goal League Knockout Cup has been set for Sunday, 6 October from 5:30 p.m. where we will have a veterans game to begin. Then the grand finals will be between One Pot Zone Rouge and Garrison. That game should start at 7 p.m. This is James Javier, League Coordinator for the Tarish United Small Goal League.
League Coordinator James Javier. And that's how we end the DBS Evening Sports Report and news. On behalf of the News and Sports Departments and our link person, Joseph Fadul, I am Leila Langford saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening, welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. It is the 4th day of October 2024. We announce the death of Alwyn John Baptist, better known as Kayleigh and Shush, age 54, of Egliston, who resided at Girardel. He died on Thursday, 19th September, at his home in Girardel. He was the husband of Jody Luke, an attorney. He was the father of Nisha, Delwyn, and Derwin John Baptist. He will also be remembered by his grandchild, Sophia John Baptist, his siblings, Judy Casimir, Frank, Eddie, Lennox, Jefferson, Glennis, Kenrick, Brian, Claudia and Karen John Baptist, Kathleen Cornelius, Edvona John Baptist Luge, Sandra Bofong, and Kalisharan James. Parents-in-law John and Pearl Luke, grandparents-in-law Nicholson and Jane Roll, daughter-in-law Kitana Javier, adopted son Keontae Esprit, aunts Linda James, Rosemary Blah, Decima and Jennifer John Baptist, uncles Gilbert and Owen Guy, cousins Ingrid and Lauren Blah, Annelle, Avril, Esther, Kerwin, Lester, Jefferson, Bradley, and Frances Guy. Also Kathy Mayers, Annette Fontaine, and Josie. Nieces Kimani, Casimir, Natalia, Edina, Arlana, Peyton, Edwina, Naya, Rosanna, and Ivor John Baptist. Tarmira and Faith Cornelius, Amber, Chelsea, and Dijiana Luge, Marla and Michael Beaufort and Carly James. Nephews Miguel, Curtin, Noah, Ahmed, Jaden, and Armani John Baptist. Also Trevor Worrell and Shane Mayers. Brothers-in-law Ivan Cornelius, Octavius Luge, Cadian Luke, and Hubert Bernard. Sisters-in-law Necree, Gillis, Pearl, and Kerry John Baptist. Also Amy and Diamond Luke. Also Nidhi Joseph, Kimisha Tyson, and Sasha Daniel and Kimora Bruni. Cousins-in-law Casey and Cassie Jolly. Aunts-in-law including Shirley Guy, Lauren Guy, Glenda Martin, Gloria Uvena, and Ilma Luke and Jacqueline Martin. Uncles-in-law including Greg Blah and Ian Roll. Godchildren including Eric, Austri, Tiara Arundel, Kyle Thomas, Latoya, Azariah Cyprian, Brianna Henderson, Sienna and Liera Joseph, and Angel Valmond. Employees including Aaron Hippolyte, Cambridge Antwine, Trevinson, and Edwin as well. The management and staff of the WASCO including Mr. Bernard Etinoff, Mr. Ferrara, Mr. Winston, and Mr. Roberts. The management and staff of Platinum Law Chambers including Mr. Lennox Lawrence and family, Marissa Ferrol, Leoma Prince, Kilicia Benjamin, and Jayad Doktorov. Doctors and nurses at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital's Oncology Department and Alford Ward, inclusive of Dr. Gomez, Dr. Challender, Dr. Moses, Nurse Richards, Nurse Lequent, Sister Edmund, Dr. Ferrara, and Matron Emmeline Matthew. Other members of the medical fraternity in Dominica, including Dr. Roberto Lara Guevara, Dr. O'Reilly, Dr. Shane McIntyre, Dr. Sanchez, Dr. King, Nurse Scotland, and Nurse Tracy Durant. Doctors, nurses, and staff at the National Institute of Cancer in Cuba, including Dr. Brolio Maestre, Nurse Ismael, Nurse Isabelita, and Nurse Naomi. Management and staff of Triage Health, including Jessica and Emmanuel Esprit and Paloma Mark. Close friends including Monsignor Eustace Thomas, Father Elton Leta, Andrina and Anthea Del Sol and family, Paula, Lena, Ferdinand, Clinton and Julian Antwine and families, Alwyn Thomas and family, Jeanette Ellis, Ma Jo, Ma Eugene, Yolan Leta, Randy Alexander, Sandra and Steve Arundel and family, Damian Desiree, Loftus Harv, Percy James and family, Melvin Colbert Graham and family, Ken Boston, Davidson Bedminster, Amos Regis, Felix Michel and family, Dana Marie Selena and family, Anika Bellot and family, Carlita Benjamin, Sophia LaRoque, Carol Christopher, Kawo, Silma, Mr. and Mrs. Finn, Anika Cyprian, Natasha, Rod and Adele Scotland, Sherwin Joseph, Toby, members of the Happy People family including Steve and Susan Joseph, Theona, Ronald, Hiskith, Oliver and Oyen Henderson, Gerald and Francine Jean-Jacques, Don Etienne, Agnes, Alt and Tessa Vidal, Owen, Iton, Oliver, Lisa and Curlisa, the entire communities of Girardel, including Ruth, Euthily, Christine, Conrad, Ezra, Mergan, Nikita, Geraldine, Shamara, Nelisha, Mary, Merlin, Gerald, that should be Sherilyn, and Mr. Julian Theophil. The entire community of Egliston, including William, Brenda, Ando, Maria, Ketty, Maudlin, and Marilyn. The entire communities of Bells, including Francis, Merlin, Kishma, Nora, Norma, Andrea, Ken, Nikez, and Denny. Parliamentary Representative Mrs. Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, Prime Minister and the Government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, members of the Dominica Bar Association and Legal Fraternity in Dominica, many other family, friends, and clients around Dominica, including the village of Fortney, Newtown, Ansdime, and the wider Caribbean, names too numerous to mention. He was predeceased in death by his parents Eugenia De Yogai and Reynold John Baptist. The body of the late Alwyn John Baptist, better known as Kelly and Shush of Egliston, who resided at Girardel, can be viewed from 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 5th of October, at the Fatima Church in Newtown. That's the Fatima Catholic Church. The funeral mass will take place at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the Roseau Catholic Cemetery. We announce the death of Linus Daniel, better known as Lennox of Boetica, who resided at Kennedy Avenue, Roseau. He died on Friday, 20th September. The funeral arrangements for the late Linus Daniel, better known as Lennox of Boetica, who resided at Kennedy Avenue, Roseau, will be given in a subsequent announcement. The management and staff of DBS Radio, the nation station, extends deepest condolences to the family of the late Alwyn John Baptist, and we also extend deepest condolences to the family of the late Linus Daniel. time to bring you the general announcements on this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. The WASCO informs customers in the Kalinago territory from Sinico to Sensi that staff will be at the Salibia Primary School auditorium on Monday.